The dust swirled around Kunle and Abayomi's feet. They were inseparable, two young boys against the world in their small village. Laughter echoed through the fields as they chased each other, their bond unbreakable, their spirits high. Kunle, the elder by 2 years, was the protector, the voice of reason. Abayomi, impulsive and full of life, relied on Kunle's steady hand. They shared everything, their dreams woven together like the straw mats their mothers made. They whispered of Lagos, the city of opportunity, where even the dust sparkled with promise. They imagined streets paved with gold, houses towering high above their mud huts. Lagos beckoned, a siren song of hope in their ears. It was a dream that bound them together, a shared yearning for a better life. The bus rumbled into Lagos, its belly full of wide-eyed dreamers. Kunle and Abayomi, their belongings bundled tightly, stepped off into the chaos. The air hung heavy, thick with exhaust fumes and the cacophony of 1,000 voices. The streets, far from paved with gold, were choked with traffic and lined with crumbling buildings. The city felt alive, pulsing with an energy that both excited and intimidated them. They found a room in a crowded tenement, a far cry from the grand houses they had envisioned. The walls were thin, the air stale, but it was a start. They found work at the market, hauling goods for weary traders. The work was backbreaking, the pay meager, but they held on to their dreams. Lagos was a harsh mistress, but they were determined to make her theirs. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months. The city, once alluring, now felt like a cage. The weight of their poverty pressed down on them, hunger gnawed at their bellies, and their dreams began to fray at the edges. Abayomi, his usual exuberance dimmed, grew quiet. He spoke of returning to the village, to the familiar comfort of their old life, but Kunle refused to give up. He clung to the hope of a better future, even as despair whispered in his ear. He took on extra work, his body aching, his spirit slowly breaking. One evening, returning to their room, he found Abayomi gone. A knot of fear twisted in his gut. He searched the streets, calling his brother's name until his voice was hoarse. But Abayomi had vanished. Kunle stumbled through the maze of the city, his heart pounding in his chest. He had checked with every trader, every soul they had befriended, but no one had seen Abayomi. Despair threatened to consume him. Then, in a dark corner of the market, a man approached him. His eyes were cold, calculating. He knew of Abayomi's disappearance, offered a way to find him for a price. The man spoke of a group of men who took what they wanted, who could make people disappear. He could ensure Abayomi's safe return, but it would cost more money than Kunle could ever hope to earn. Desperation clawed at Kunle's throat. He was trapped. His love for his brother, a weapon the man wielded with cruel precision. In the end, blinded by fear and desperate to save Abayomi, Kunle made a deal with the devil. Section 5. The Abduction. The plan was chilling in its simplicity. Kunle was to lure Abayomi to a specific location, a deserted warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The man assured him it was all part of the plan to scare Abayomi's captors, to ensure his safe return. Guilt gnawed at Kunle's conscience, but he pushed it down, clinging to the hope of seeing his brother again. He found Abayomi a few days later, his eyes filled with relief at the sight of his brother. He led him towards the warehouse, his heart pounding in his ears. As they neared the building, a group of men emerged from the shadows. Abayomi, realizing the danger, turned to run, but it was too late. They grabbed him, their grip like iron, and dragged him into the darkness of the warehouse. Section 6. A Brother's Lies. Kunle's blood ran cold. He had betrayed his brother, condemned him to this fate. He wanted to scream, to fight, but his limbs felt heavy, useless. He had to get help, had to tell someone. He ran back towards the city, the man's words echoing in his ears. "Tell anyone and your brother is dead." Fear choked him, silencing his voice. He returned to their room, his mind racing, searching for a way out of the abyss he had created. He told everyone Abayomi had run away, vanished into the city's underbelly. He feigned concern, his heart breaking with each lie, each concerned glance he received. He was a prisoner in his own guilt, the weight of his betrayal crushing him. Section 7. Rescue and Revelation. Days turned into weeks, each one an eternity for Kunle. The guilt ate at him, his dreams haunted by Abayomi's terrified face. One morning, police officers arrived at their tenement, their faces grim. They had raided the warehouse, rescuing those held captive, including Abayomi. Relief washed over Kunle, so profound it nearly brought him to his knees. His brother was alive, but the relief was short-lived. As Abayomi recounted his abduction, his gaze fell upon Kunle, his eyes widening in recognition. "It was him," he whispered, his voice trembling. "He led me there. He sold me." The words hung in the air, sharp as shards of glass, shattering the facade Kunle had so carefully constructed. Section 8. The weight of guilt. The world spun, the accusations echoing in Kunle's ears. He wanted to deny it, to proclaim his innocence, but the truth was etched on his face, in the depths of his shame. He watched as the police officers turned on him, their eyes cold, unforgiving. He offered no resistance, his guilt a lead weight dragging him down. As they led him away, he met Abayomi's gaze. The pain, the accusation in those once familiar eyes was unbearable. In that moment, Kunle knew he hadn't just betrayed his brother, he had destroyed the very foundation of their bond. He had sold his soul for a lie, a betrayal that would forever taint their history. Section 9. A soul lost, a bond broken. The crowded cell couldn't contain the vast emptiness that had become Kunle's life. The bars that held him were nothing compared to the cage of his guilt. He had chosen money over family, fear over love. The city had promised him a better life, but in its unforgiving embrace he had lost everything that truly mattered. He saw Abayomi's face everywhere, in the shadows, in his dreams. The memory of his betrayal, of the terror in his brother's eyes, was a wound that refused to heal. He had come to Lagos seeking a better life, but he had found only ruin. He had lost his brother, his soul, and any hope of redemption. His was a Lagos story, a cautionary tale whispered on the wind, a testament to the devastating power of desperation.